he was not in this movie, but for whatever reason, I was thinking that he was also Bubba in Forrest Gump.
Yeah. Bubba Shrimp.
That's not like completely oblivious.
What was Bubba's last name in that movie?
Bubba's last name?
It was Bubba.
Because I just be thinking Bubba Shrimp. It wasn't Bubba Gump.
It wasn't Bubba Gump. I was gonna say that, but
that popped into my mind for some reason. Bubba Gump, and I'm like
they were
but it was
married
Bubba Gump Shrimp, right? Was it Bubba Gump?
That's what it is.
Bubba Gump.
Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Yeah. Okay.
Bubba Gump Shrimp. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie. Wow.
Yo,
I feel bad for Lieutenant Dan every time I think about that movie.
But isn't DJ Khaled the Forrest Gump of hip hop?
Bro, him at the New Year's party
in a lot of ways.
How? I don't get that.
Oh yeah, say that again.
He's like a genius, dumb dude in a lot of ways.
I don't think he's dumb. I don't think he's dumb at all.
I don't know. He can't read.
DJ Khaled?
I feel like DJ Khaled can't read well.
Really? When did this happen?
Oh no, bro. Y'all don't remember? Okay, well, in the Hot 97 interview when he goes accurate instead of accurate.
All right, but see, here's the thing.
He's a little.
I don't know.
Illegible.
I don't.
Is it illegible? What is it? Illiterate. Illegible is when you have sloppy handwriting.
But here's the thing. I don't know how much of that is him playing it up as a character, or is it really him? So I don't know.
Nah, he's a little dumb.
I don't know.
He's not dumb like he got knowledge. He got no. Yeah, I'm not saying he don't got gems. He don't got knowledge. He don't know what the fuck he's talking about in certain things. But he's not like well read. Like
he's not eloquent.
He's not like eloquent or articulate.
I've never heard
there
read,
it is.
So I don't know.
There it is.
Like I've never been in reading class.
I feel like he can't read that well.
Reading class.
You know what I mean? Ready to start up though? Or?
Yeah, we started already. We've been talking.
Oh, we talking? Oh, shit.
This is recording
again. I'm gonna cut how I cut.
Yeah, he might use part of it, like
like a little intro bit.
I haven't talked into my mic yet, but we in this. Yeah. We in this bitch.
This is the No Politics Podcast.
The No Politics Podcast.
Your weekly dose.
If it's worth talking about, we talking about it.
What's up, y'all?
We got
talking about today. Special guest. Our second live guest, I was going to say vest. Anyway. TyTheSoundGod. TyTheSoundGod in the building. So,
engineer, producer,
extraordinaire,
friend, brother.
See, you made
outstanding human.
All of that.
Honorable man.
Ex-Fortnite player.
Let's just say you might know him, but you might not know him, but you know his work for sure. That's the thing. So like engineer, producer, we're gonna get into his story and how he, came up, how he got into music and stuff like that. But we also gonna talk our shit a little bit and what's the hot topic in music or culture in general right now? I think one of the things that's been kind of dominating.
Music-wise, Kendrick, obviously.
Yes, sir. Mr. Morale and the Big
I
Steppers.
would definitely love to get your opinion on Kendrick's body of work, what you think about it.
Yeah,
and, get deep into, like, the music talk, get to know you, your come up. So, yeah, like E was saying, though, right now, we got Kendrick blowing shit up.
Yeah, he's back. After the 5-year hiatus.
Man, after 5 years, I mean, he said a lot on this project. I think first and foremost, it's incredible. It's an incredible project.
Facts.
It's a piece of art. It's definitely a masterpiece. In my eyes. I think he said everything that really needed to be said. I think he, like the whole concept of tap dancing around the conversation, which he kind of introduced in multiple segments of the album. Right. I just think that was, kind of the whole vibe of it, and I really understood it. And I really resonated with it personally. And he talked about a lot of things that, we need to speak about as society. We need to speak about as a culture. We need to speak about as
men,
human beings, and just in society in general. So I think there's a lot of
How you feel
things.
About that?
I was going to say, y'all knew about the tap dancing around the conversation concept thing?
Yeah, I kind of figured it out.
I didn't. Like, you blew my mind when you said that, because there's times, like, towards the end of certain tracks, or you hear the tap dancing.
No, but he says it at the end of We Cry Together. He says, "Stop tap dancing around the conversation."
Okay, I was gonna say
true.
Cause and then when he said the tap dance thing, I thought of the Big Step is that like a play on like
I heard that now that you're saying it.
So like that kind of just blew my mind because I didn't even think about that.
You know what I also thought? I was thinking about like on some like racially, it was almost him representing, shucking and jiving and stuff like that.
It's so funny because that's something that I kind of that's the image I got in my head of the shoes.
That's what I thought.
Like, the shoes too. You wearing these big
minstrel
shoes,
show type shit. That's like he's talking on like. I mean, I could be going. He's a deep artist, so he deserves this type of conversation. But like, he's always trying to give imagery. Incorporate that in his music and his art and videos and everything. And I feel like he really, he is making his own social commentary. He's also talking a lot of stuff, and he's relating himself to society and stuff out there. He's like kind of bearing his soul on several tracks on this. It's like some of his most personal music, but I feel like, I think he's talking about society in general, is making his own judgment on things.
Yeah, most definitely.
And where we stand as a society.
What's your thoughts?
I thought honestly, like, I didn't even think that deep into it, but I thought like overall from like a music fan and the perspective I got was like, obviously I got the messages and
he's talking on certain tough subjects,
subjects and shit. But I just thought musically, just in general, if I'm gonna judge it against other like bodies of work, I thought it was a great showing because a lot of people like to compare him with the GOATs. J. Cole, they try to say is a GOAT. Drake is a GOAT. He's a GOAT. Can they compete with Jay, Nas, Biggie, Pac, Snoop? And I think he's one of the ones that probably out of all three of them that has been the most consistent with damn near perfect projects.
Yeah, no, I think this album definitely cemented him as one of the GOATs.
I was gonna say that brings us into the best 5 albums to start what was the shit that they was talking about? Rosenberg was talking about it.
Like basically his first 5 albums compared to Kanye's first 5 albums, because a lot of people feel Kanye has one of the best. Well, I know I said it on this podcast.
Yeah.
We both best hip-hop run.
Yeah. We were all in like unanimous agreement.
Facts. We all said it.
On the Rosenberg was saying that he didn't think that anyone in hip hop history had a better like first 5 album runs than Kendrick. And then towards the end, after he made his case, someone said Kanye. For sure. And that's basically what we were saying. But yeah, if you even want to go to, they were debating whether to even start at Section 80. They didn't. They started at Good Kid, Mad City.
Which is dumb.
Untitled.
And he counted Untitled. I didn't understand it. Like that was bad. First of all, Untitled was Untitled for a reason. It was leftovers from the Pimp a Butterfly.
Wasn't like a
give them
project.
They weren't finished songs.
They were dope songs though, but they weren't finished.
So it's like that's ridiculous to kind of count that as an album. So I believe it's Section 80.
Good Kid, Mad City.
Good Kid, Mad City.
To Pimp a
Butterfly. Damn, and then Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. That's 5. And honestly, I love Overly Dedicated too, which was his smash mixtape.
That was our introduction, like at least for me, I could say to him.
My introduction was Section 80 when you put me on.
Did you put Section 80 in your list or no?
Yes.
Yeah, we just did.
That's his original first album. That was independently released on Top Dog Entertainment, and then he got signed to Aftermath after that, and then his major label debut was Good Kid, Mad City.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where do you guys think this album falls in that 5?
Honestly speaking, I don't even want to rank it.
I can't do it yet. I can't do it yet. I need to sit with it.
It's too early, and I feel like
it has potential to be top 2.
Ooh,
I would say maybe top 3, but I put Damn as like his second best album.
You put good.
Good Kid, Mad City.
It's tough. Honestly, I can't. I don't even think I can rank them. Because Good Kid, Mad City, Good Kid, Mad City is like,
life,
Good Kid, Mad City is like up there.
Our first story, like a Nas's. It was written for us.
That's a great.
So that's number 1 to me.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, To Pimp a Butterfly, I feel like was the first one where he kind of really
took a chance
and really pushed the sonic scape to a different level. Like, yo, I'm gonna do something that some people may not understand. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think To Pimp a Butterfly is his best album.
Yes.
It's from start to beginning, from start to end. And the reason I say that is just when I say album, emphasis on the album, I'm talking about the way it's engineered, the way it's recorded, his songs, the way it's sequenced, the thinking behind that, the concept behind that, how they were able to do that was amazing. But Good Kid, Mad City is a great album too, and it's more enjoyable. So I don't have any problem saying that's number one.
The other day, if I had a bump, me, I'm thirsty.
Sing for me, I'm thirsty.
I'm dying of thirst. Yeah, that shit.
Crazy song. What about the other one where he's doing the verses and the people he's talking from the perspective from are dying at the end of each verse?
Yeah, they're getting killed.
He's rapping, and then you start hearing the guy's voice tail off, and it's Kendrick's voice.
Yeah.
And they start doing like automated volume leveling where they bringing down his voice and tailing him off as he wipes away and dies.
Yeah.
And stuff.
He does some really fucking crazy concepts.
That was amazing.
I love me personally as like just somebody who's just an advocate of music and works.
Sing About Me. That's the name of it.
It's the same shit.
Yeah, Sing About Me. That's
the same joint.
Yeah, that's Dying of Thirst.
Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst.
It's the second half. It's the second half. But I mean, they're two different songs if you think about it.
I
guess it's a crazy concept.
Crazy.
Nah, he thinks it's real.
Damn is fire though.
Damn
has some incredible records on Damn.
Kid Capri's on Damn, like. Come on, not even a New York dude has done that.
Yeah.
Come on, like.
Yo, all right. So, what do you guys think is the best record off this project?
Ooh.
Wait, I was gonna ask you before we even jump to that. What is your favorite Kendrick album, or album do you think is the best one? You kind of agreed with him when he said To Pimp a Butterfly, but would that be your answer?
I think it's his best album.
Yeah,
not
would that be your
my
same
favorite? Because I go more back to Damn.
I'm with you guys with Good Kid, Mad City as far as like. It's the safest choice to pick because it was just so fucking good.
Yeah,
I think it's the safest choice to go with Good Kid, Mad City. But I think as far as how I appreciated To Pimp a Butterfly, because on the first listen you might not fully understand it, and I kind of like things like that where like,
you have to go back and catch it.
I fully didn't understand it. I fully didn't understand like what the artist was trying to do, but then like. And I don't think enough people do this. Like, really kind of like try to dive in and be like, okay, let me try to sit in a different perspective to kind of like understand what this artist is doing. And I think when you really respect an artist, you can do that and enjoy it. Like, yo, okay, like let me see what perspective they were coming from. And when you do that with To Pimp a Butterfly, it's just you in for a treat because
you unfold a lot of shit.
Yeah, you unfold a lot of nuances.
He's talking to Tupac and writing a poem to Pac.
Yeah, that was
awesome. And tying it all together at the end. And then he had they edited a Tupac conversation, and he had
he interviewed him.
Yo,
yeah, that was crazy. But Pimp to Butterfly is like, to me, I think To Pimp a Butterfly is like.
That's why I laughed.
He called it Pimp the Butterfly.
Pimp to Butterfly. Like if someone was evolving from a pimp to a butterfly.
To me, over time, it's like I didn't go back.
Right.
But I remember appreciating it, and I do put it up there. Like I said, he put out almost 5 perfect albums. I just think Kanye's 5 were actually perfect.
Wait,
if I had to choose between them, I would say Kanye's 5 is stronger, but that's not a distant to Kanye has
those.
Kanye has. We're not just talking about hip hop. He has one of the greatest 5-year runs to start a career in music history.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, listen, we got to stop doing the whole hip hop thing because hip hop is the biggest genre in the world, and we're the most influential genre. 100%. So when we talk about it, like we're no longer a subculture anymore. Mm-hmm. Like it's hip hop is like 45 years old, gonna be 50 years old or whatever.
That actually makes me actually ask you 50. Like, what made you choose to want to be an engineer, a producer? Like, where in an era like, especially when we come up, everyone wants to be a rapper.
Yeah, that's actually.
Did you want to be a rapper first?
I did want to be a rapper first.
I knew it.
All I gotta say is I may or may not have a song of Ty rapping on my hard drive right now. I may or may not.
We might have to outro with that.
Yeah, definitely some real R-rated stuff.
Yeah, he had one that was like, if Tiana Trump was like a WWE wrestler, she would come out to that song.
Yo, that's crazy.
It was like, it was mad sexual. Like, I was like, holy shit.
Yo,
was it all over my body?
Yeah, man. But no, as far as I definitely started out, wanting to just enjoying music. I always enjoyed music, and I always, in a weird way, since a kid, I always created music. I just didn't know I did. Like when I was like a young kid, I used to like remix songs. Like do my own version. Like if it was like whatever song I would hear on the radio, I would do my own version of that song with my own lyrics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just for fun, though. So I always loved music, but when I decided to actually pursue it, not really pursue it, but when I actually got interested in like working on music, I actually had a little gateway computer, and so I learned one day that you can like plug in your headphones into the mic portion and record. You know what I mean? So I recorded my first song like that.
Wow.
Like it was. And
so you recorded yourself.
Exactly, I recorded
myself.
So
you were trying to rap, and then you were actually doing your actual future by engineering yourself.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
That's funny.
Crazy. So the funny part is that this is how it all started. It's kind of a funny story. So what I did was I went to school the next day and I showed everybody my song. I was mad excited.
Wait, how old were you?
I
always need to know the age.
I was like 14. I was in middle school.
Okay, yeah, it helps me put it in perspective in my mind better. But
no, I might have been 14. I might have been in high school at that time.
Yeah.
14
15, you'd be
yeah.
like a freshman.
I think I was a freshman. Yeah. So, boom. So I'm like, all right, cool. Recorded this song and shit like that. I think I'm like hot. Yeah, I'm trying to say, show to everybody this song. Yo, people clown me. They was clowning me in school.
What was it about it? Was your bars trash?
No, the song was trash. Okay. I ain't even gonna lie, the song was trash.
You remember how it goes? Be honest.
I do remember how it goes.
Let's come on a little bit. Give us a little snippet.
But
2 bars.
Here's the funny part. I was such a class clown at the time that when they clowned me in school, I went back and created diss tracks against everybody.
Oh, nah.
You know what I'm trying to say? I brought that back to school.
You was listening to Cassidy, huh?
Yo, I brought that back to school next day and had everybody dying. Like, yo, you heard what this thing said about like such and such, such and such? Like, I was just like,
that's
getting
funny.
on everybody. You know what I mean? In school. So what ended up happening was like a little school battle. Like, so like now, like other people came and they made tracks about me. Then I went back and made tracks about them. And then we kind of teamed up. You know what I mean? So me and my boys against like some other our friends or whatever, we kind of teamed up and we kind of was like doing diss tracks back and forth.
And it was like you get crowds, people watching you do this?
No, I would record the diss track. Them, yeah. And then at lunchtime we would play the diss track for people.
Yo, I did that before, but with a dance battle.
Oh, and then we had MySpace. We had MySpace at the time too, so we will post it on MySpace. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then so that would be funny as well. So what ended up happening is that the word would get out like, "Oh, yo, where did you record that at?" And I was like, "Yeah, I recorded it at the crib or whatever." And then so like I was just the guy. Everybody started coming to my crib to just record the stuff. So it kind of like
look at that
fell into my. So then I started going on this journey, kind of like because I hated the way it sounded. So it went from like having a mic, like I literally had a mic just like this.
Damn,
a Radio
shit
Shack
on
mic.
Eric. Radio Shack mic.
$25 microphone. I had that microphone, and then I started learning about like, oh, yo, I need a better microphone, and then I learned about a condenser microphone. Oh, that's all I need to get like the expensive sound. That's what I thought at the time. Like, because I heard songs on the radio, and I'm like, yo, how can I make my songs sound like the songs on the radio? I always wanted to, like, I always saw. So it was like me chasing that high of like getting to that point. Right?
Did you have any
That was the whole journey.
Any inspiration at that point? Like, what are you listening to? Like, in terms of like where you're getting your ear for sound and stuff. Is there anything sonically that at the time at this age that you're gravitating to?
At that point, I think Kanye was just dropping. You know what I mean? I think this is like 05.
Okay.
So I think Kanye was like just dropping
around
that time.
Kanye was about to arrive.
I'm a huge Jay-Z fan, so I was Jay-Z everything. You know what I mean?
At that point. What's your first Jay-Z album that you listened to, like as a kid, that you remember? The first
Jay-Z album that I vividly remember listening to. Obviously, I listened to Reasonable Doubt and stuff like that, but that didn't influence me until after. I would say
the first one that kind of.
I think it might have been Volume 1.
Okay.
Volume 1. I think was the first album that I actually listened to. I remember my first the first actual music I actually owned was Lord Tyreek and Peter Guns.
Oh shit!
Uptown Baby.
Yeah, Uptown Baby. I had it on the tape.
I remember being like 5, seeing that video.
Yeah.
I think Pun was in the video,
Pun
right?
And Joe, yeah.
And I just remember seeing Pun and Joe and thinking it was their song. Because I was little and I knew who Pun was and all that.
That was a dope record too.
Yeah.
Very dope record. Very dope record.
That was huge.
And it's funny because one of my friends, Nasty, shout out to Nasty, he engineered that record. So it was years later, the first record I've ever bought, I'm like, yo, I meet a friend through engineering, and he actually engineered Pun as well.
That's a clean mix.
Yeah, he's a really good engineer. He engineers for Joey Badass now.
The Steely Dan is the group that Lord Tariq and Peter Gunn sampled on that. They made no money on that record.
Wow.
He took 100% of the publishing.
Oh wow.
So that was a hit record for them, but they were on a shitty music contract.
Wow.
They never made any money really off of that. I mean, they toured and stuff, but they were kind of like one-hit wonders, for the most part. Yeah, tough. But they didn't get anything in terms of the publishing on that. He took it all. So now a lot of artists, and Ty, you would know this, sometimes the major artists could command that. I'm taking all the publishing. It's like, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
But a lot of the most of the time, it is a courtesy, especially when the song turns into a hit record. You'd be like, yo, here's this.
You
here's this. You break them off. They
never did that.
So they were tight at that dude.
That's crazy.
They made him hot again. Basically,
that's the shitty side of the industry.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of shitty components to this industry.
Yeah, but I mean, not to interrupt your story. So you said you're 15 around this time. You get this microphone and stuff because you're trying to search for a more refined, perfect sound. You want it to raise basically your standards and stuff like that. So
100%. So I always was obsessed with how to get that, because one day I actually with my studio and I went to another local guy's studio that a lot of people just in the local hood would go to. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm like, okay, cool. They used to go to this one guy's house to record. And I went and recorded with him, and he was listening to music when I walked in or whatever. And I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty dope. But there was actually somebody in the booth, and I was like, yo, that shit sounds kind of finished already to my untrained ear at that time. And he was like, yeah, I got a compressor. I'm like, what's a compressor? So then it's just this is pre-YouTube, by the way, because YouTube didn't really pop to when 2006.
YouTube, 2006.
YouTube was out, I think.
Yeah, but it didn't pop. It had I was about 13. I want to say 14 maybe when
today,
I started watching.
You can get a bunch of tutorials.
14,
yeah, you can learn fucking everything.
You can learn that time there was no I had to learn. You're learning on your own. There maybe been 2-3 tutorials out on YouTube at that time.
You go to libraries and shit.
Yeah. If that. So I went to this dude and he had it was an outboard hardware compressor, and I was like, yo. So now I'm like, damn, yo, I need a compressor. You know what I mean? So now it's just I start little by little understanding a little bit more of the terminology, and I still didn't know a lot, but I just started learning and started working on it more and more. And there was this local studio in Poughkeepsie. That's where I grew up, Poughkeepsie, New York, on Main Street. It was called Upstate Music Alliance or whatever. And this guy gave me the opportunity to come work in there. And I was a young kid or whatever. He was like, yeah, you want he's looking for engineers, and I kind of knew I had a little bit of more knowledge for certain parts of
how old were you?
To put effects. I'm 15.
15? Nice.
15, yeah.
That's crazy.
So I started working out of there. That was it really taught me how to work with clients and things like that. And at the same time I was recording people out of my crib too. Right. You know what I mean? Never knew that though. you know, black mamas don't want nobody. You at my crib. You
were sneaking them in the booth.
Yeah,
they were whispering. They were doing the yin yang shit.
One time because you know, like it was. I ain't gonna lie. One time,
where do you see Ty's mom?
One time the artist called me. He outside. He called me. He's like, "Yo, I'm outside, yo." He was like, "Yeah, but I brought the whole G unit with me." I'm like, "What you talking about?" I look outside, yo. This dude had like 20 people with him.
Yo, the whole G unit.
This nigga
everyone except 50 Lloyd and Tony A. Like everyone except the main ones.
G unit pulled up to Ty's crib.
And I'm a high school kid. I was impressionable, so I was like, "Damn, I ain't gonna tell these niggas they can't." But I was like, "Yo, ma, if she come home and see all these niggas in the crib, I'm definitely not living again."
Yo, who are these people? Yo, it's G Unit.
All these niggas in the crib, yo. No. I used to record in my closet.
How could I say no to G Unit, ma? Like,
I had a little closet with the booth. I had to look like sliding doors on the closet, and actually. I saw Hustle and Flow, so I put the little the little McDonald carts in the booth or whatever.
The grind.
And actually, I remember my first pop filter was a do-rag. I put a do-rag around a hanger.
Nah, bro.
Yeah. So a do-rag around the hanger. That was my first pop because that's how you did it.
That's smart.
That's smart. That's how you make a pop filter. So my first pop filter was a do-rag.
That's fire.
That's a quote right there.
That's inspirational.
That should be the name of your first album.
My first engineer album, right?
Yeah, my pop filter was a do-rag. Volume 1.
I do like five volumes of that
shit. Yo, when you come back,
do-rag volume 3.
When you come back and we do our other episode, we gotta put do-rags on the
mic. Wave check.
We gotta wear them too.
No, actually, yo, if you can't afford a pop filter out there, do-rag makes a pretty good pop filter. You just tie it around a hanger.
That's incredible knowledge.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? So these are the little tricks that I started learning throughout my career or whatever as a youngin'. You know what I mean? Like just trying to figure out different ways. And then I started learning more about I can put processing on the vocals to make them sound good, compression, and then I started learning how to use this kind of stuff and completely fucking people's records up.
Well, I was gonna ask you.
I did some horrible work, bro. I did some butcher jobs.
What was the most embarrassing situation of your young engineer career that you could think of where you were out of your league, or you were nervous as hell, or anything happened where somebody you had any situation that comes to mind?
I remember the first time I caught myself trying to use Melodyne on a chick's song. I completely changed the key of her song, and so I sent the record for you that don't know what Melodyne is. It's just a plugin that allows you to correct people's pitches of their voice or whatever, so you can pull up the pitch or I completely destroyed it my first time doing it. So it was she was singing an F, and I made her singing E or something like that. It's crazy. So yeah,
did she like it?
No. She was like, "Yo, what the fuck did you sing?"
Wow. How old were you at this time?
I was probably 17.
Okay, so you were still young. Okay.
I was still.
Yo, you were using Melodyne at that age?
Yeah.
That's wild. I didn't even know it was out that long.
Yeah, Melodyne's been out for a minute.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Melodyne's been out for a minute.
So were you able to fix the song, or just kind of?
No.
She fired you right there.
That was when I was butchering songs all day and all night. It was all day.
It was just his thing at that point.
Because you just didn't know. I just didn't know what the fuck I was doing.
Gotcha.
And that's the cool part I liked about engineering, is because I feel like say for example, and this is no shade to all of the other sectors of the music industry, but I feel like as an artist you can be talented and you can make it. You can be a producer, you can be talented and make it. You know what I mean? And be able to make something really good. But with an engineer, you have to have the talent, but also you have to gain the skills. It's not like you
it's not raw talent.
Yeah, you have to learn you got to understand certain concepts to be able to. So when you're in a certain situation, right, then your talent can guide you. Yeah, I mean, so I thought that was really cool. It was
I get what you're saying.
The science, the math, the technology of it mixed with the art form of it.
Because once you really actually know what you're doing, now you can start using your talent to start fucking really.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I give you like an EQ and a compressor, you might do something that really sounds really good to your ear, But the thing about it is like understanding what these tools are, understanding how to use these tools, and what scenarios you may be able to do other things with these tools, and what different type of I guess like methods to use tools. I mean, I that was interesting for me when it came to engineering. So I like the fact that it was different, and I like the fact that I'm a little bit of a rebel at nature. So I like the fact that it wasn't what everybody was trying to do. Like nobody in my town was trying to be an audio engineer. Everybody wanted to be the artist. Everybody wanted to make the beats.
So it's like using on your own.
So I was kind of like, on an island of my own, and I like that.
I used to think about doing this sometimes.
Oh, word?
Yeah, especially because like coming up with art too. You're familiar, obviously, one of your close friends and stuff. Like I used to know he rapped all the time, and I used to think like everybody wants to rap. So I used to think like maybe I should learn how to engineer and shit. But I was young and started cutting school and all that.
I was gonna say horny. I was young and
horny,
chasing
so
girls.
I never pursued that, but yeah, man, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, man, it's a lovely craft to be able to do. There's a lot of like mentalism that's a part of it. Like you got to really understand how to like I don't know, it's a humbling experience to be an engineer, because not only do you have your own vision, but you also have to meet the guidelines of another person's vision. So it really teaches you the ultimate compromise. Like, you know what I mean? How to compromise and how to like compromise your vision for, other people's vision. And it's a humbling experience in general. And just like the nature of engineering in the industry is that like I don't know, like if you just know my tribe of audio engineers, is just like, they're the most humble people in the world, like they're really, we share knowledge with each other. I feel like, we're just on an island of our own as far as the music industry goes. And I feel like really audio engineers are like the unsung heroes of the music industry. Because think about, there quite literally is no recording industry without engineers.
Exactly.
Like if you don't have records, if you don't have actually records recorded and mixed and put on like disc or put it on a streaming platform or something like that, you don't have any music industry.
Also, like people don't understand, like if you listen to, used to be radio you would listen to, but listen to a playlist or something on a streaming service, like the songs that are the pop songs and the mainstream songs today that you hear, like most mainstream pop artists are not great vocalists, but engineers are the ones behind making their voices sound a certain way to an acceptable level that it could become a product and become commerce and stuff. They dress up all the flaws and 100%. Stuff. So it's like, and really great engineers can make really like average sounding voices sound incredible. So like, yes, it's a super important like part of not only just music, broadcast TV, like film. Yeah, it's crazy. I definitely have a lot of respect for that. I took actually audio engineering at Nassau Community College. I got a certificate degree in that, but like I stopped with it. Like I did internships and everything. Like, but back then what was funny, this is Pro Tools just came out. Like it was just becoming the standard or something like that. It didn't just come out, but like, so like what I first learned was like on an actual like old school analog console.
Yeah, you telling your age right now, boy.
Yeah, I know. It's wild. It's wild. I'm comfortable with it. But yeah, it was bugged out. But it was an older studio, so they weren't really on the digital shit like that,
That's right.
But it was cool.
You have any questions, Junebug, for Ty?
Based off. So not the real G Unit.
There wasn't a real John.
Okay. I was curious how that story wrapped up.
It was Tony Mayo.
That story wrapped up. That story wrapped up because I didn't. Thank God I didn't get caught.
Okay.
What would have happened if you got caught and your mom walked in?
I mean,
20
she would have been fucking pissed. I mean, what would have really happened? I probably would have got yelled at a lot.
She would have beat up the whole G unit.
That's what I'm trying to say.
She would have definitely cursed every one of them niggas out and be like, "Yo, get the fuck out of here."
So, at what point in your journey, did you get to a point where you recorded someone? You was like, "Holy shit! I'm really making strides at this engineering stuff."
Yeah, I really does this now.
Yo, actually, the first person I ever worked with, I guess, with any kind of celebrity stature, actually, was when I was I was actually 17. It was with Tech, what's it called? Tech from Smith and Wesson.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cool. Real cool. He actually worked with this producer, and I gotta shout him out, Drawzilla. He was he's somebody who really really put me under his wing and gave me opportunity
nice.
at a young age to work out of his studio, and not only work out of his studio but make money. I got to actually
17. That's crazy.
Yeah. So
so you wasn't in college yet, or were you in college?
No, that wasn't in college yet. And I think the college move was when I really started taking engineering completely seriously, because I could have went to a community college that was local that everybody went to, and that was kind of the plan. I was supposed to go to Dutchess Community or whatever. So I had two options. She said, you can go there or you can go to anywhere that has that same price. So the only other place that I could go that had that same price that had audio engineering was QCC.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
that's in Queens.
Yeah, Queens Community College.
That's when I decided to go to QCC. Because I wanted to do audio engineering. At first, I thought I wanted to do sports medicine. That's what I really wanted to get into. But I took a nursing class, which it was dope because there was a lot of girls in that class.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, but I fucking hated it. I was like, yo, I'm not doing this shit. Yeah, I mean, and now obviously nursing is not sports medicine. It's completely different, but I was like, I just didn't like.
It turned you off from the whole.
I just didn't like the whole sterile feel of the hospital.
Is your family West Indian?
I don't know.
Okay. I'm only asking because he wanted to be a nurse. I was like,
no,
he didn't want to be a nurse.
No, I didn't want to be a nurse. No, let's not put that rumor out there. No.
Sports medicine.
I wanted to be a sports doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You got sports doctor vibes though.
Yeah,
you're the sports doctor of engineering.
See, I wanted to be here with Luca, and yo, Luca, your ankle, I got you, brother. But then I was like, nah, I just didn't like that path for me. Facts. I decided to pursue music.
Was there any inspirations for you, as far as producers and engineers, or how you that you saw as something that you wanted to achieve?
Yeah, at first I didn't know much about it, but then I started learning about people like Tony Maserati, which was one of the first engineers that I really found out about because I love Biggie, and he did a lot of Biggie, so Tony Maserati, and then I started learning about people like Manny Marroquin, who he did this Kendrick Lamar album, his last Kendrick Lamar.
Wow.
And he's just I mean.
Life After Death is an amazing fucking engineered album. My God. 100%. And that was in 90s. They recorded that from 96, 97.
Yeah.
So
when I started learning about guys like that
is awesome.
It told me, it really made me feel like, oh shit, this is these guys are cool. These guys really know their shit, they're intelligent, they're talented.
Oh, did you ever meet them?
I got to meet Tony Maserati once at a convention, but I never really got to
talk with him,
build with him. I never really had a engineer mentor. Besides Michael. Later in my career, I took a mentor named Michael White. He taught me a lot about mixing, and he really kind of guided me and took me to that next level of really understanding the art of mixing. And that's something that this whole journey kind of led me to. But if we rewind back to the college days, So I was living in Poughkeepsie, and I was actually so when I decided to go to college, I had to travel from Poughkeepsie all the way to Queens. So sometimes that would be like a 3-hour ride from back and forth every day or whatever. So I started, coming down. I would stay, in the Bronx sometimes, and it was just a journey to kind of like get to the point where I am now. And after college, I started interning. I went to every studio in New York City. I had or every studio in the Times Square vicinity. Like I went to like 10, 15 different studios with a stack of folders. I went to FedEx and I printed out a bunch of resumes. And I just started going. I wanted to really, really work at Rock the Mic. Rock the Mic was Jay-Z's studio, Rockefeller studio. Really, really wanted to work at Rock the Mic. So much so there was a little secretary, and I used to bring her flowers. Straight up, I used to bring her flowers, and she was like, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do. Thank you. You're so cool. You know what I mean? Whatever. I would
That's
bring
dope. That to me, that speaks to like the ambition, the
her.
grind, the
Yeah,
hustle, just thinking
100%.
outside the box. How can I get my foot in this door?
100%.
I love that.
You know what was crazy? Because my boy brought me to the studio and was like, "Yo, this is Rock the Mic studio or whatever." And then Jay-Z's nephew got out the car. Whatever, nigga looks just like Jay-Z. I'm like, "Oh shit." Yeah, I mean, and he got out the car and he got it and he went in. And I was like, I just really wanted to work there because Jay-Z's my favorite artist. So I was like, shit, I really want to work here. And I didn't even know about Quad Studios at that time. I never heard of Quad Studios. So I walked to Quad Studios because I Googled it or whatever, like studios in this area or whatever, and it said Quad Studios. So I walked and I didn't know because in Quad the elevators are locked, but I didn't know that. I was like, damn, these elevators aren't working. And usually the staircase is locked too, but this day the staircase was open. So I went in the staircase and I walked up to 10 flights or whatever. I went up there, and then usually that door is locked as well, usually. But
not
this
today.
day it was open.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying
God
to say.
just opening
so
doors
I walked
today.
in and I saw one of the interns, and he was like nervous. He was like, how the fuck did you get in here? Like,
yeah.
Because they, it's more like, professional. You don't really want, the celebrity clients in there. You don't want like random people off the street, like walking in,
Yeah.
So the intern was like frantic, like, oh shit, like how did you get in here? And I was like, oh no, bro, I just wanted to hand my resume in. I'm looking for an internship. And this dude came out the back. His name was Jason. He was the manager at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you looking intern?" Da da da. And he asked me a few questions. He was like, "Yo, come back. I think like Monday or something like that." And I was like, "Word, all right, cool." And then he came back. I came back Monday, and I was like telling him everything that I'm doing and stuff like that. And he was like, "All right, let's do it." Just like that. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's start. When you want to start?" I'm like, "Shit." So like, I'm like, "All right, cool." So like, I left there. I swear to God, I feel like that was my pursuit of happiness moment. Like, where
I
like
can see
you
it.
walk through
I can see you.
how you walk through the
block
crowd.
right
Like,
now.
I was like, "Yo, this is the start. Like, this is the start of
That's
me
beautiful.
working in this industry."
Yeah, just to be clear, when you walked in to, it was Quad Studios, right?
It was Quad Studios.
When you walked in, what was your intention of being there before you just wandered up the stairs to
intern
to talk to somebody, basically, to drop your resume?
Well, to drop my resume off for an internship.
By the way,
gotcha.
Quad Studios is the famous Quad Studios where Tupac Shakur was shot in the elevator, where he was robbed, and where basically
Biggie was there that night.
Biggie was there recording
100%.
with Little C's in another studio, and Pac always thought that Biggie had him set up and had something to do with it. So that's an historic place.
Historic, yeah.
And beyond Tupac and Biggie recording there, there's been plenty of people recorded there.
Yeah, all the legends.
I got the pleasure of hearing like personal stories of like people who were there, the OGs that were there the day he got shot, and kind of tell stories and stuff like that. So I was like, I got the pleasure to like hear that kind of stuff, from them. So
I remember one time I was at Quad, and
yeah.
I was there with you, and someone just randomly told me a story that like the back area of the penthouse was like a room that Biggie used to like sleep in. Like there was a bed and all that there for him.
Oh, I'm pretty sure. Hell yeah.
While he recorded and shit, so he could be there for days, like recording and shit. And yeah, like I was like, wow. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's
it was like a random conversation. Yeah,
that's the dedication. I mean, well, that's kind of the culture of like being in the industry and being in the engine, being especially as engineers. It's like kind of like workhorse. You know what I mean? Like you gotta be the first in the gym, the last one to leave the gym, and the culture of being an intern at the time. That was the culture. You wanted to be the best intern, so you wanted to be there longer, stronger than anybody else. You know what I mean? So because those were ones that got the opportunity. Because the notion that we always were on was, and this was the truth, is that you get your opportunities when you're available. And this is something that always stuck with me, because what ends up happening is that when that engineer is sick that day, or that engineer is late that day, or that engineer fucking is just not on their P's and Q's that day, you're next.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when you get your opportunity. And that's how I finally started getting opportunity, because of things like that. Because engineer didn't show up, or engineer was messing up in the session, and then you're there, and then you're allowed to, I mean, step in, and you know, and now you're working.
You remember your first session at Quad?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Was it a particular artist or?
So it wasn't anybody like famous or anything like that. It was a producer and a writer. They were in there, I guess, working on a camp. I think it was for Epic or whatever. So they were in there working on a camp
Epic
for
Records.
Epic Records, yeah. So the guy kept on asking me questions. He was manning Pro Tools himself. He didn't have an engineer. He didn't book for an engineer or whatever. So I guess he's used to using Ableton or Cubase or something like that. So he kept on asking me questions like, yo, how do I do this in Pro Tools? How do I do this in Pro Tools? And after like the fourth time, he was like, yo, dude, you want to just like record me? And I was like, yeah, I don't mind. You know what I mean? And I was like, yo, I just gotta make sure it's cool, like, you know what I mean, them or whatever. And so I asked the manager, and he was like, yeah, if he said you wanted to record him. So I recorded him, and I did a really good job. Like, you know, they really like my vibe and everything like that. So the next time they came back, they were like, yo, we want that guy to work with me again. And then that writer, she came with another group of producers or whatever, and then she said, oh yeah, I want him again. You know, so then it made me look good to the management, like, oh shit, like this dude is really on his P's and Q's. And I remember one time, you know, back then it was like real harsh. Like as little, I don't know how it is now, but like if you would mess up in a session, you would get kicked out. You know what I mean? Like people would kick you out of their session because you fucking up. You know what I mean? So pretty much one of the engineers fucked up on a session or whatever, and they kicked him out. And I felt so bad for him because they made him come into the shop. We were in the shop. It was like our little office or whatever. They made him come into the shop and be like, yo, they said they want Ty to be on the session. Whatever. And like all the managers and the owners was there and everything. And I was like, damn. I felt bad, but so that kind of propelled me to be able to get a little bit more gigs there.
So were you always like super cool under pressure, like, or did you also feel that pressure of like, damn, if I fuck up right now, they might kick me out?
You know what's so crazy, and I've definitely felt that pressure, but I've always just dove in anyway. I just did it anyway. Like I don't know, something in my mind was just be like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Like you know what I mean, like my first session, I didn't know how to turn the big speakers on to the small speakers. So like every time they opened the booth, it was getting like so much feedback and shit like that. Like I just, I didn't really know fully what I was doing. I was learning on the job. So, you learn and then we taught each other as engineers. But yeah, that was when I look back on it, it's probably going to be one of the most special times of my life. That internship, it probably was one of the most important times of my life too, because it was just like we had nothing, bro. We were broke. Yeah, I mean, you're not getting paid. Yeah, I mean, like you're doing this shit for free, and you're doing it for probably like 10 months to a year for free, and living in New York City. Yeah, I mean, so I remember one day I got tired of coming back and forth from Poughkeepsie to the city to do my internship, and I remember I said I need to be there longer and stronger than everybody else. You know what I mean? So one day, literally, I just woke up and packed all my shit, and my brother used to drive me to the train, and he's like wiping his eye like, what the fuck, what you doing with all this shit? Where you going? I said, yo, bro, I'm never coming back. I'm out. And he was like, he didn't think I was serious. I was like, nah, bro, I'm never coming back. I'm doing this music shit. And he was like, what? And then I moved into the studio. I just slept in the studio. I would sleep in the staircase sometimes. Sometimes I was sleep in the garbage room.
Were you authorized or?
No, they didn't give. I mean, I was not to say they didn't give a fuck, but like it was encouraged for you to like want to work,
live and breathe that shit.
Because if you're doing your thing, I mean, look, I'm giving them free labor. I'm cleaning the studio. I'm taking care of the clients, doing runs, for the clients if they need anything. So
they need to build a fucking a shower and all that in the spot for like people like that are willing to sacrifice.
We would have to go to the local gym to shower. You know what I mean?
would say, or maybe a hotel or something.
Yeah. Or when times were rough, and this is no politics, so we're gonna keep it straight here. Sometimes we would have to, you got the brown papers in the bathroom. You got the foam brown soap. Giants, yeah. You know what I mean? And that's how you just use bird bath. You know what I mean? And that's how we had to get it in. And trust me, I was not the only one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like sometimes that's how it was.
Wow.
It was crazy because the funny part is that we would have all of these like major artists come in, and they didn't it's not their job to understand or know that
the hustle, the grind, the struggle.
They don't know what's happening behind it. But it's funny because when we have artists like A$AP Rocky or DJ Khaled and all these different artists that will come in, and when I tell you we were so broke that whatever they ordered during their fucking session, we would scavenge off their food. We're okay, if A$AP Rocky ordered chicken or some shit now artists didn't know this. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we would literally, he didn't bite that side of the chicken, we'd eat that side of the chicken. We used to love when Rocky used to come to the studio because he used to leave these fucking big ass blunts. You know what I mean? Big fat ass blunts.
You hear that, Rocky?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you for the good weed.
But let me just do another clarification. The artist didn't know about this. You know what I mean? So
I'm sure this is not. If they left it behind.
No. But what I'm trying to say is that it's not like their fault or anything that. Or
imagine if you would have kept a half-eaten A$AP Rocky sandwich. You know how much it'd be worth.
Yeah, you ever share stories the other day I was biting on A$AP Rocky's drumstick that he left. He's sharing fucking food scavenger stories. Nah.
And this is pre because I know he's a vegetarian now. I think he's vegan now.
Is he? I didn't know that.
This is when he still owns meat and shit. But he was awesome dude. Really cool guy.
Is he the first? Who's the first kind of notable person that you would say that you recorded or been in a session with?
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was not well. Remember I said probably Tech from Smith & Wesson. I probably
okay.
First. So but at Quad
once you're in New York,
I was at Quad, it was Stolly actually. Stolly, remember
MMG?
Stolly?
Philly rapper. Right. Ohio.
So I remember I recorded him and I posted a picture online. That was the first time I didn't even know his music like that. So and people were like, "Well, you working with Stolly? That's crazy." I was like, "Oh, word?"
Oh, so you ain't even posted to Flex?
Nah, I wasn't even posting it to Flex because I really didn't know his music like that.
Gotcha.
Wow. Yeah, I'm trying to say so, but people were like, "Oh shit, that was dope." You know what I mean? And then after that, but we got to work with a lot. Oh, but I was about to say I'm sorry to kind of switch topics, but I was saying about the A$AP Rocky blunts. So sometimes we would scavenge the food or whatever, but what we really loved is that we would take if they had roaches or anything like that at the end, we would take them shits and re-roll them shits up. You know, because we didn't have no money for weed at the time, you know what I mean? So you know, we would like when Rocky used to come through because some people they don't smoke all the way down to he used to leave clips, full clips. We were like, damn, these is damn near full blunts. You know what I mean?
And just re-roll them shit.
Yeah, exactly. We was re-roll them shit.
Fuck it.
Now that's some real scavenger shit.
So this is you and other interns?
This is me and all the interns. We was all on that time. You know what I mean? Because none of us had money. it was dollar slice. That was pretty much it. That's all we could afford. We could afford dollar slice, and what we would do at the dollar slice spot is that we would put hot sauce on that shit, so it feel like you actually eating a meal. You know what I mean? Like, all right, yo, let's. You know what I mean? So we would go in. You know what I mean?
That's the grind, yo. Take care of your engineers, man.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
No, but that's just the grind. But again, there's no boo-hooing because you
did it for opportunity.
We did it for opportunity. We chose that life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We chose that life to be able to be available to have that opportunity when it arises.
I still like that you said that, because that reminds me of like luck is when preparation meets opportunity, and it's almost like it's not that you just lucky because by random chance. It's because you made yourself available enough that when opportunities came, you were there. So it's almost like a person that posts 100 songs has a better chance of one of those going viral than someone that posts 2 songs.
Yeah.
Right? It's just you creating your own opportunity by being available, like you said. So
yeah, 100%.
And by taking those shots.
And that's why they champion that, like, yo, be here. Because, like you said, someone could be calling out or fuck up.
And then it's showtime.
100%. And then it's showtime. And now you got
a
credit.
Up to bat.
Now you got a credit.
Woo.
And now you're like, oh shit, I can leverage this credit to get more work. Yeah, I mean, so that's pretty much what we did it for. Yeah. Is to be able to leverage the opportunities that we got there, and we got a lot of them. I mean, we got a shit ton of them. So that's awesome.
I was gonna say, so you speak into the scavenger lifestyle, the hustle type lifestyle. So it makes me want to ask, and this is something that I like to ask, is there a human quality or trait that you hold in like super high regard? So like something like respect is important to me, honesty is important to me. Is it hustle that's important to you? Hard work, like what is it? Like, is there one single human quality or trait that you feel like just tops the list for you that you put first? You can take your time too.
Think about that.
I mean, maybe grace.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, we're in the music industry where I think people operate with one another in a very transactional way, where it's just like, I only want to interact with people that can
do
benefit
things for me.
You know what I mean? And I just think it's a very inhuman way to
that's
interact with
I feel that.
people. So I don't know. I just always liked when, I always liked artists who would come in the studio or people who would just be, around in the music industry who connected with other people based off of like, not just, oh, this person is that, can do this for me, or this person has done this in the music industry. And you know what I mean? Like, I like people who connect with people just because, like, you're cool.
Genuine.
Like, I fuck with you. I genuinely fuck with you.
And that's funny because
I love that you said that,
That
bro.
was going to be one of my
That's
questions.
the no politics, right?
That's the vibe. That's exactly the vibe.
Genuineness.
Yeah.
And just piggybacking off of you asking that question, but you answering that question reminded me I wanted to ask you too, like, was there anyone that was the most, like, genuine, humble person that you was like, damn, I can't believe this person's this fucking
graceful.
Yo, like, I ain't even gonna lie, J. Cole.
Wow.
Probably
that don't surprise me, bro. That don't surprise me. Once he said it, that don't surprise me.
Bro, there was times where, like, he would come to the studio, and I don't know if he will remember this or not, but he would come to the studio and, like, we would be, like, in a circle talking, like, having a conversation, and, like, you would hear somebody talking, like, yeah, wait, Cole? We didn't even know that was you there, bro. Like, it was just
real
so
humble, low key,
like that humble. Like, wow, like coming to the studio, sweatpants, hoodie, just very regular. Like, I remember introducing him to my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, yo, Cole, this is my girlfriend. You know what I mean? And then he was just like very like, he wasn't like industry. He was just like very like.
That reminds me
of a dope story.
Did you see the story of J. Cole that he had a fan that he told her he'll help her get through college.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
As long as she graduates, and he'll go to her graduation or some shit.
Some shit like
and
that.
No.
If he'd go to her graduation if she went to a 4-year college, I think something like that.
And he helped her with the college as well.
I don't know too much.
Maybe not.
I
would
like
have put it
people like
past
that.
him though. And he showed up for her graduation through it all, like, and all that.
I mean, you gotta respect people like that because it's just like he has every right to come in and have like this elitist mentality, like, you know, I'm a celebrity, I'm rich, you know, I have, I'm in a position of power here,
exactly,
right? And that's the dynamic. And sometimes you do feel that when you're
in a room with certain people.
With certain people, you'll feel that power dynamic, and as engineers, I think that's a tough thing that we don't talk about enough, is because that's something that we still have to maneuver through, and you still have to be professional, even if somebody is
with someone, you gotta
being,
cooperate.
because you're there. Our job, think about it, our job is sensitive in the fact that we have to make sure that the artist feels comfortable, because if you're working with somebody who's a famous person, like if you're working with like a Beyonce or something like that, they got to know, like, they can trust you, like you're not going to like leak their records, you're not going to like secretly record them or something, like do some weird shit, that could compromise them. Like they have to be able to trust your character. So you have to be professional at all times. Even if we're having fun and chucking and jiving in the studio, you're the captain of that ship. You're the one that has to make sure that, this shit is like, you make sure that things are going right, and things get and work is getting done, and the vibe is set. And that's part of the job description as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, what era was this when you met Cole and stuff? And
so this is like 2010, between like 2010 and 2014.
Okay,
so right before Forest Hills Drive.
So it's like Born Sinner era.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any particular songs that you worked on with him that you remember? Any mix work that you did? Or
I don't think he released anything, so I got to record him once. Or whatever. And I'm not sure if he released the record. But it was a pleasure to do.
Was he a quick worker and stuff? Like, is he like efficient? Or?
Usually, actually, he's the type of person where usually he'll come and record himself. He knows his way around Pro Tools.
Okay.
And there's a lot of artists that I worked with that are like that. Like Travis, he's like that. Knows his way around Pro Tools.
Travis Scott.
Travis Scott. I think that's kind of like this generation artists that kind of like understand what they want and understand, and I've noticed that affinity with a lot of like people who have already had success. Like they, like when they come in the studio, they kind of like know what they want.
They know how to produce themselves in some aspects.
Yeah. They really kind of understand their sound.
Yeah.
So that's really, that's really cool to work with too.
So you mentioned Travis Scott, J. Cole. I know you worked with man, I'm blanking right now.
Ty Dolla $ign.
Yeah, he was also very cool.
Exactly.
Very, very cool dude. Yo, dude walked in, and this is something I do regret. He walked in, the first thing he said is like, "Yo, do you got beats?" And I wasn't confident in my beats at the time, so I told him no. And I could have, and that's a lesson for people. Like always, like, because who knows? Like even though I thought
even if they was trash, even if they was trash, right?
You know what I mean,
even if they was trash, it's the same result as you saying no. I got no beats.
Yeah,
100%.
It's the same shit.
Yo, Ty Dolla $ign. If you hear this, he got beats.
Got beats now.
He got beats.
Word. I got beats now.
I got beats. Yeah. Too late now though. But
you never know. Doors don't close.
But yeah. But I mean, he was a really, really cool dude. I didn't know at the time that he played so many instruments. And he was so musical, at the time, and it was weird because
Hook God.
Yeah. So
one of the best melody singers in the past 10 years, right? Last 10 years.
Yeah, he definitely has a gift for melody.
He's been in.
He's nice.
Killing it. On
he's
the
fucking amazing. He's a fucking
for a
amazing.
long time.
Yeah, he's great.
I'm a big fan of a lot of his albums. But I was gonna ask you, is there any advice you would give to anyone coming into engineering or producing besides don't say you don't got beats? like direction they can go, and shit like that. Like
I would say, diving in, I think is the most important part. one of my friends, he has this saying: you didn't know nobody in the first grade until you got to the first grade, right? You know, and sometimes like it's just going to the dance that gets us there. And sometimes we kind of are over analytical of actually going to the dance. Like right now, like you guys are doing it. You guys are doing the podcast, right? Like you're just doing it. Like, and then like don't overanalyze all the other things that's gonna come with it. You know what I mean? Like you're doing it now, and then eventually those things, before you know it, you're like, damn, we've been doing this podcast for a year. We've been doing this. We got to this point, right? And that's I think that's how everything in life is that some things you got to just dive into and kind of just do it and not really give it too much thought, because if you really think about anything too much, then you're not gonna do it.
Yeah,
you know
analysis paralysis. It's like you
because
sitting there just thinking of all the little things. Yeah, but we can't do this because I would need to know this, and if I got to know that, then I got to do this. Like,
nothing sensible
and then
to really do.
And then the only thing you're doing is not doing anything.
And that's advice that could go beyond just engineer. That was actually great life advice.
Yeah. Jump in, dive in.
Dive in.
You gotta dive in. You know, but yeah. So working at Quad was a blessing, and I got to the Ty Dolla $ign stuff was actually at Blastoff. When I was over at Blastoff.
You know, I was thinking the name Busta. I know you worked with Busta too at one point.
No, I didn't work. I didn't work with Busta. No. I've been around Busta a lot. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that must
friends.
Busta walked by me once while I was in Quad Studio
Yeah.
on the bottom floor during NFT NYC.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
We was manning the doors.
I was on the elevator with him once. I just played it cool.
Yeah.
I just respected his space. You know?
I mean, I didn't jump at him or nothing.
Yeah, he could be an intense person. So
yeah, that's not a person you want to mess with too much. You know what I mean? He's definitely gonna turn up on you.
Yeah, I remember I saw him.
Legend.
I saw him
legend,
in the Universal Music Group building. This is when he was signed with Cash Money, I think. Wow. And I think the Big Bang was about to come out, or it was like, you know, his Aftermath album.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that one.
Yeah.
That album. So anyway, it was a pretty good album actually, but
New York shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was walking into the building, he was walking out, and I'm like, I looked at him, and this is when he got diesel and cut his hair. And I was like, yo.
So yeah, this is his Aftermath album.
And I was like, yo, Busta, what up? I just took chances, like, fuck it. I want to see Busta.
That was aggressive.
And then he was like, he said it in that growly voice. Class was like, what up? He just looked at me. What up?
Solid Busta impression.
That was solid. Solid. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah. It's cool. It's cool working with celebrities. I like working with celebrities and independent artists. I think some of the most talented people I've worked with are people nobody's heard of.
Who aren't, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it too. You can like discover hidden talent, like people that aren't known yet, you know?
100%.
That's cool.
I got to work with a lot of people early in their career as well. You know, and that was really cool. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Travis, I worked with him real early in his career. A Boogie was real early. P&B Rocker was real early in his career. Roddy Rebel and Bobby Smurda, that was real early in their career.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I was actually there that night.
That they got locked up.
I left the studio like an hour before.
Wow.
Yeah, so that happened at Quad Studios too. And my boy calls me and he's like, yo, bro, you're not gonna believe what just happened. Like, you're gonna, like, this shit is gonna be all over the news in the morning. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? He was like, yo, like 30 minutes after you left, like the whole SWAT came up in here and took everybody. And they arrested everybody, like engineers and everybody was in here.
Wow.
Everybody was in handcuffs. You know what I mean? So
why did you leave? What made you leave that night?
Oh no, because I was going to the studio around the corner. So I was still at the other studio.
Wow.
With my boy. We was just kicking it, you know what I mean? And I was just like, you know, and yeah, so it was just like, you know, I could have been there, but
yeah, nah. That's why I asked. I was like,
crazy.
I wonder what was it that pulled you out of that moment away from
I was
that
gonna
moment.
say he went to get a dollar slice with some hot sauce.
Nah, he went to get the G unit.
He had to go engineer for 20.
At that point, I had a little more than the dollar sign. I could afford a little more than the dollar sign.
Okay.
At that point, I came up a little bit by that time.
A little bit. Grind.
But then, yeah, we're still grind.
Is there anyone you haven't worked with that you would love to work with besides Jay-Z, obviously?
Definitely. There's a bunch of people.
Is Jay-Z at the top of the list, though, I would assume?
Yeah, I would say
okay,
Jay-Z
so then,
and Kanye.
He's so mad about that answer, by the way.
100%.
I don't give a fuck, actually. Why am I going to be mad about who motivates him?
But there's not,
don't say that.
There's mad people with talent, though.
I'm joking.
I think that's like, I would love to kind of just work with, you know?
Right.
So
any new up and coming that you feel like, you know what, they're dope. I would like to even give them some beats, maybe.
Up and coming. I mean, how up and coming?
All right, I'm gonna say like these like if K Flock was out, B Love, the J.I.s.
Yeah, I like the drill stuff.
You know what I'm saying? Like these little TJs, the little Techers, even.
Yeah.
You know,
I enjoy you know what's, and I'm gonna be very honest and frank, because you know I'm not that much older. I'm 30. I'm about to be 32.
Yeah.
But like I come from a different era of music, and honestly, when I like we're talking 2010s, remember there was this big divide between like the generations, right?
Yeah.
Of like, because you know the older generation wasn't really fucking with the sonic landscape. And I kind of leaned a little bit more towards that sector. I was a little bit more lenient than obviously like older guys. You know what I mean? But I kind of leaned towards that section. And I felt like I closed myself off from actually like, because hip hop has always been about rebellion, right? And like, fuck what you older guys are saying. Like, this is what the vibe is. So I feel like now I'm a little bit more in tune. Even now, because I'm giving it more of an open air. Yeah. Like even like you would bring certain artists to me, and I'm like, no.
I discovered as I got older too.
I'm not like that anymore. I had to open myself up a little bit.
I had to do the same shit. I remember just growing up thinking like, you know, just being like, like Tyler would bring me some, like, whatever, like y'all on some young shit. But then I realized like I don't want to be one of them like old heads that just like don't give nothing a chance.
It's funny,
be like that's not real music.
You gotta give shit. You gotta give it a chance. And once I did give it a chance, I really enjoyed a lot of the stuff that I was, I was listening to. And you know, you don't want to be the grumpy engineer like just like recording shit like. You young whippersnappers.
Y'all ain't fucking with Busta.
Nothing.
You don't want to be that. I would also imagine. I would also imagine that you listening to that type of music kind of gives you a better feel to how to mix those records or where to go when 100%. You actually work with those type of artists.
Or even like a Little Baby.
100%.
A Little Baby's fire. Like,
he's fire.
If you were to get a beat to him or even work with him, that'd be dope. You know, that would be cool as fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
One thing I wanted to mention, Busta. So I know somebody that you mentored was nominated for a Grammy for Busta's album, the last Busta album, or something like that.
Was Delaney nominated for a Grammy for that?
I think she was. I know it was something.
Shout out to Delaney. Yeah, she's talented engineer. She's took off on her own merit. I can't take credit for that. So she did her own thing.
But I know she gave you. I know she did like a post where she kind of shouted you out and stuff. I remember.
I really appreciate that.
That's cool. When you get the respect from your peers, that's a big
that's
thing.
Yeah, I always try to give respect to people, and you know what I mean.
And you've
you do,
been
bro.
that way.
You've always been that way. Super humble.
You had your clubhouse shit, like you said. You referred to your crew as your tribe, and I fuck with that.
It is my tribe. Yeah,
that's your tribe, and y'all are very great people, and like you said, very insightful. Willing to share knowledge.
It's a community. It's a real community.
I miss those clubhouse conversations that you were having on there. Though. I think you were killing it. Like that Jimmy Douglas interview.
Oh yeah. Jimmy Douglas, man, legend, dude.
That was a great fucking interview.
Yeah,
and I was there. I was there for the Grandmaster Flash.
Great interview.
That was the best
amazing.
night ever.
Yes, he was talking about how
Lupe
he came up.
Fiasco was there.
Lupe was there. Yeah,
that was fire.
Oh,
that was so fire. It's I mean, but I kind of stopped doing it because it was just like the culture of Clubhouse changed so much.
It's toxic,
and I just didn't want to. I just didn't think it made sense anymore. Yeah. I mean, in that environment, and then plus we were at the top of the pandemic. Now things started opening up again. People started getting busy again. And
more
going
busy,
to work,
yeah.
so I was just like, I may bring it back, but I really want to make
that would make a great podcast. It would make a great like video series where you're like going in depth and talking with these engineers, and like because there's a lot of superstar engineers who really don't get the shine that they deserve. So Jimmy Douglas, for those who don't know, was Timbaland's engineer. So if you know Timbaland's beats, yes, some of the cleanest production, like beautiful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like he did all those Aaliyah records and Missy albums, like he's a beast.
Yeah. And what people don't understand is that, and this I guess was hard to understand, is our sound as engineers isn't also embedded in the sound of the song, right? Like we have a sonic scape. Like Jimmy Douglas has a different sonic scape from Tony Maserati, who has a different sonic scape from, Manny Marroquin, or Eddie Kramer, or these are all like, engineers, but they all have their own sonic scape. And I think that's something I think we need to do better with educating, I guess, the public on what audio engineering is, because I think a lot of people don't even know what the fuck it is.
What would you say as a producer is your like when it comes to audio engineering is like, if it's like the three main things that you need to know to kind of get a good mix record, like what would you say are like the most important components?
Man, that's a nuanced question.
You give a nuanced answer.
So I think the most important component, I'm gonna give you one. The most important component in mixing is being able to understand what you're listening to, and then being able to understand what you want to hear. And everything else is...
And then closing that gap.
Everything else is just the techniques to be able to, like you said, close that gap. So, like, okay, I'm hearing this. This is what this currently sounds like. And if you can articulate that, then you can say, well, it currently sounds like this, but it actually needs to sound like this. Then if you can articulate that, it's just like closing the gap. Like you said, okay, cool. How do I accomplish this? So if this vocal is like, muddy, which is a terminology we use where, something is kind of muffled, if this vocal is muffled, how can I make it clear? And there's a process in between there. Like, okay, maybe I can EQ this. Maybe I can, add some harmonics. Or maybe I can take out, the low end. I know these are all terminologies that are.
No, I'm familiar.
Yeah. But I'm saying maybe for the...
Yeah.
No, I get it.
Nah, we don't know.
We don't know shit. I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Nah, that reminds me.
I told you I dropped out.
But that's what I'm trying to say. I think the science part and the techie part gets in the way of actually showcasing the art part of what we do, and I think that's why it's confusing for people in the public to really understand like what audio engineering is and how important it is, and why we should actually be a part of getting points, because that's the big thing I think that's wrong with audio engineering, is that the craft has evolved, but the business hasn't. So we're still getting work for hire, right?
So points meaning like you'll get paid from the record a certain amount of money forever.
100%. So audio engineers are considered what we consider work for hire, right? And so that means, I hire you and I pay you to do a song. So, and this is just the truth, right? I have records that have generated millions of dollars that literally I've gotten paid maybe $300 for, right? Maybe
What's the biggest record that you would say that you worked on?
Probably
It's so many.
Yeah, there's a lot. Probably the when I was on the ASAP Rocky stuff and the Drake the fucking problem record.
Wow.
Yeah.
With Kendrick.
Yeah.
2 Chainz.
Well, so that record was actually wasn't gonna be ASAP Rocky's record first.
Yeah.
And he was actually on the last verse on originally. You know what I mean? But then it switched up or whatever. So there was a few different recordings of that record, but that was the first time I ever walked in the studio and I actually heard a record and knew it was a hit before it actually released. Like actually, like you can say a song is a hit. There's a difference between saying a song is a hit and like actually like fucking knowing like, oh, this, because when the song came in, it already had Kendrick, Drake, and 2 Chainz on it.
Wow.
So it was just like, so listening to that, and then now you just plug in an ASAP vocals, you're like, okay, like this is a hit already. You know what I mean? So,
that's crazy. That's dope.
Yeah, but what was the next thing we were gonna say?
All I just said
you were talking about getting points.
Points. So there are records that, you know, whether it's, you know, your engineering or your mixing or your assisting or your mastering, there are records that we were a part of that, you know, you're considered work for hire. So, and the reason is because historically engineering was more of a technical thing, right? It was more like, okay, like mixing didn't always exist, right? It was like you came in the studio, you had a producer, you had musicians, you had all these different components, and your job as an engineer, they used to actually physically wear lab coats in the studio. I'm not sure if you guys know that.
No.
Yeah.
That sound fly.
Physically wear lab coats.
I only seen Dr. Dre do that shit in the video.
Yeah. This is back in the day or whatever. But the when you record, when you're actually in the studio recording, you know, they were just there to monitor mostly, and like, you know, okay, choose the microphones, choose the microphone placement, and although there is a lot of creative IP and, you know, the microphone choice and the microphone placement and all those things, those are creative IP things, but I can see that being more of a technical service. Now, in this digital age, when an artist comes in the studio, right, there's no musicians that's coming in the studio. There's no producer. The producer's sending the beat, right? This is me and the artist, right? And now I'm doing things like creating, you know, reformatting the song. I'm doing things like, you know, doing putting, you know, effects that are essential for the production of the song, right? Just doing a bunch of creative IP things. And standardly now you don't get hired if you don't have any creative IP that you can add to a record, right?
Wow.
Like, because it's just like, if you're just a guy who just press record, they're gonna say you're a garbage
trash
engineer. You're not adding anything special to the song. So now we're like, okay, now we're creating that same now we're giving creative IP to the song,
adding to the sound.
Exactly, but now we're not getting compensated for that. And
bullshit.
Yeah, and so not only are you not getting compensated for that, but you're getting paid less than what they got paid back in the day. Because back in the day, you know, if you wanted to do a album or whatever, it might cost you $2,500 a day in the studio. You know what I mean? And because you needed to go to the studio for that equipment. Now with this digital age, I mean, nobody's paying you that much. I mean, they can say I could record this on my universal audio at my crib. Yeah, I mean, and I could just, you know, send in my vocals for mixing or something like that. So nobody wants to pay you that much. So now it's like this rat race to the bottom, and the business has been kind of the craft. Is weird because we're in a weird place in engineering because the craft has evolved to its top level as far as the craft of audio engineering. It's like the tools that we have, like the type of sonics that people are getting now out of records, and the type of clarity, and now we have Atmos and all these kind of crazy tools to do really fucking cool things. And engineering, it's at the peak. But business wise, I always use this term. It's like we got locked in the studio and locked out of the office.
Wow.
Right. And business wise, I feel like, you know, like it's a rat race to the bottom and we're work for hire. But now an engineer is getting $50 an hour on hit records, $25 an hour for some of these young kids. I remember when I first started getting paid as an engineer, I was getting paid $8.50 an hour as an audio engineer. Playing, I mean, that's they make that at fucking McDonald's, right?
Yeah. I knew you was gonna say McDonald's, but I was like, they make more than that at McDonald's now.
Now. But I'm talking
like minimum wage.
I'm talking
then,
back then.
Yeah.
Back then it was like $8.50. So $8.50. And you're recording. So imagine doing a 10-hour session making $80, $85. You know what I mean?
85. Yeah.
Yeah, you make $85, and this record is a hit.
And the price don't go up.
And you don't get any more or less. You know what I mean? So, I think there needs to be a conversation had, because I understand the other side as well. I understand, if I come in and I don't know this guy who's just recording me and he's not adding any creative IP, why does this person need to, why does that person deserve, points on my publishing or something like that? So I kind of can get that, but I think since the lines get blurred, and what is production, and that conversation is uncomfortable to have in the studio about splits and things like that. And like, when am I going out of my realm of just being a technical engineer, and when am I going into the realm of being a producer of this record? Yeah, I mean, I think that needs to kind of be clarified a little bit more, so that we can actually engineers can actually eat as well.
Yeah,
right. So at this point, the way to make the most money would be if you get get an in-house position, like let's say with a record label or specific major artist.
I think that's kind of like the cream of the crop for an engineer right now, because like if you do get really close with an artist, then they're more inclined to give you points. And if you're like a cream of the crop engineer or at the top and the label's always giving you work, then you're more inclined to be able to get points.
Negotiate
negotiate those points. But that's more leverage things rather than what's the physical work that you put in. It's more like, okay, the politics of like that you're able to work out for yourself, rather than like, okay, like I actually did this work that should be worth more than $100 that I got paid for it. You know what I mean?
What would you say? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I was glad you said that, because I was gonna ask, is that like, you said that's like the cream of the crop? Would that be your like goal? Is that your ultimate goal? What is your ultimate goal? If it's different from that, how?
100%. So that's the thing about me, is that like I kind of took a rare to the left a little bit with that, because
you're a rebel.
You know what, and this is not, maybe this is just my ego talking, and I'll be honest, but I don't like the idea of my accomplishments being based off of someone else. And that's why I don't ever really care about talking about my credits and stuff like that. I think bolstering yourself up based off of the people you work with is just like,
I've known you since I was 16. Like, we're cool because we're cool. Like, I never this is the most in depth I get to know about your journey.
Most definitely.
Same. I'm learning so much, and I've known you for a couple of years now too. But for me, like, I've always loved you and fucked with you because
you're one of
you
the best,
just a genuine vibe. You just so humble. Yeah. You've worked with so many people that I'm learning that you worked with just today, during this podcast episode.
It's not being braggadocious at all.
That's crazy. And I wouldn't have never known, because that's not you. You don't talk about it like that.
No,
I love
definitely.
that.
Definitely.
People need to hear it too, though, man. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with you being proud of what you've done and stuff, and the people you work with. I mean, you're not rubbing it in anybody's face. That's not the intent.
That's what we're here for.
But yeah, like that's.
But where'd you rear away from it?
Yeah.
So I think I reared to the left because I got my ego talking. I just didn't like the idea of kind of like, and also the idea of like, someone still being my boss. I don't like to be told what to do. So
I'm
like,
right there with you.
The dynamic, and this is a dynamic like remember I told you, you always have to be a professional in the studio. But I just started to not really like the dynamic of working with celebrities. because I didn't like the kind of industry elitism that kind of comes with it a little bit. And not to say everybody's like that. I don't think everybody's like that. But I think there is a power dynamic of knowing that, hey, you know, you're a work for hire engineer, and you know, I come in and I'm this celebrity, and I can, if I want, I could say this to you or tell you to do
cornball
this.
Energy.
And not to say there's nothing wrong with that, because I think, you know, anybody who's out there and they're engineering for, you know, for anyone, you know, I think that's a blessing. Yeah, I mean, but for me,
it wasn't your path at the moment.
Yeah, for me, I just didn't like.
Too much shit to shovel, basically.
Yeah, just the dynamic in the studio just got old for me, especially as I get older. Like, you know, and again, you know, this is my ego, but I don't want no fucking 21-year-old kid like shitting on me, like, yo, nigga, like, record. You know what I mean? Like, yo, hold on, nigga, I'm gonna take my belt off in a second.
Got that from his mom. Got that from his mom.
Maybe 16, 17 now.
Yeah. You know, so that dynamic of that is, I mean, and again, not everybody's an asshole. I'm not trying to say everybody's an asshole or everybody does that, but you know the dynamic. You like, say for example, if a celebrity walks in here right now, we know the dynamic of that, because we all know that, okay, oh, this is a celebrity. You know what I mean? Now, if that person chooses to project,
they can take advantage of that dynamic.
They can take advantage of that dynamic and make you kind of
feel inferior.
Yeah, and not to say that I feel inferior or I have that inferiority complex about myself. I celebrate people's accomplishments. So I love the fact that people are accomplished or whatever, but the dynamic of working with somebody who is popular sometimes can, like, you know,
turn off potentially.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit. For me, it could be a little bit of a turn off because of, you know, because of the fact that you do have that power dynamic, and you can kind of at any moment just be like, okay, you know, be dismissive or be whatever, maybe borderline disrespectful.
Yeah. What's the worst?
I do want to ask.
What
is some of the worst sessions?
The worst sessions that you've ever had?
We've had each
like, not necessarily shit that you did.
I was gonna ask that earlier, but I was like, I don't want him throwing. I don't know if he wants to throw anyone under the bus, kind of thing.
Famous, but like, expand on like a time where you was just like, I can't believe I'm fucking recording this right now. Like, I'm just doing this shit.
Like either something, either something that you, let's say, let's give you some parameters. Like for instance, maybe a song that you mixed and you thought it was fucking horrible, and then somehow it ended up doing well. Or it's like some people were fucking with it, or situations like where you couldn't stand the artist and like the vibe wasn't there, and they were being dicks to you
without saying names
and stuff.
You can say
and you just, it was just awful
Unless
for you.
You want to say the name. That's on you.
I don't mind.
And then
say the name.
It's like anything that pops to mind, like in that regard.
There's so many situations. There's so many funny stories. All right, so wait, where should I start? Like,
he's recorded one of my, some would say nemesis.
Who's your nemesis?
Pete Davidson.
Oh yeah.
You recorded Pete Davidson?
I recorded Pete Davidson. They did so I was Chris Red.
I heard about this. I remember hearing
or whatever.
About this.
And Chris Red used to come and he would do the skits for SNL or whatever.
Wow.
And they did
an
episode. They did an episode called Trees or whatever. Like being environmental gangsters. You know what I mean? Pretty much. It was pretty funny though. Shout out to Chris Red. You know, it was pretty funny.
That was just a random fact that came in my head.
That's hilarious.
Turn away from the question,
but word, so what was the question? The worst, the worst sessions or artists
sessions you were like, I can't believe I'm recording this shit, and then maybe it might have came out better than
even if it didn't,
or even if you got into if you ever got into an argument with an artist.
I got one funny story to tell you. Actually, I think this is maybe a little funny. I wasn't recording though. But I was it's a funny story because I was unaware, and I'm gonna name the person because he's not my client, so I wasn't working with him.
Okay.
But so I walked in or whatever, and one of my friends, he's actually engineer for Ja Rule. You know what I mean? And you know,
this is already great.
He happens to be doing a like a track for him. He's working on a track, but I didn't know at the time that the track that he was working on was a reference for a female that Ja Rule was writing for.
Okay.
So all I walked in on was, "Oh, daddy, I want to put it on you." I'm like, "Oh shit, what the fuck are you mixing, nigga? Is that John?" I'm like, "Wow, this is like, but he was saying some real like provocative shit, but it sounded like hey, voice. Yo, and you know his voice, so you like, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here? I thought that was hilarious.
That was legendary. But to be before we like start wrapping up and all, I did want to actually, like, what do you have, like, what are you working on now? Shit, like, are you more leaning towards producing because your beats been on fire? Yeah, I've always championed your beats every time. I've always championed your beats every time you play for me. So like,
yeah, I appreciate.
There's still
that.
a beat he played one time in Quad Studios when we was in the penthouse, and I don't know what it was, but like I loved it, and I've never heard it since.
Oh shit!
Never heard it since. We gonna hang out off the podcast at some point, and I'm gonna be like, yo, you gotta show me some of your unreleased shit and just scroll through them because I gotta find this sound that you was playing one night. But it was amazing. Like I was just like, yo, Ty's really, because at that point all I had really known you for was like we was video gaming, you know, but I had never really heard you work. And when I heard that, I was like, nah, like he's on some shit. Like he's actually the fucking man. Like with this shit.
Yo, on some real shit. I remember we joked about you rapping earlier and how I had songs on the hard drive, but in actuality, though, what I always notice about Ty, though, like he says like he tries shit. Like when you saying like you just jump in, you're like fuck it, whatever. He just like mad. Like he's always been like this dude who's just like chill and just like, all right, fuck it, let's make a beat then. I'm with it. Like he just like like just goes with the flow, and that shit. I think that shit works for you, and especially in this industry, in this profession, because it's like you give off that vibe and that energy, and it's like I can imagine you got to be a real dickhead as an artist not to kind of like, you know what I mean, like get a good vibe off of you, like like you got to be on some other shit, but yeah, like.
But,
for sure.
Did you ever answer the question? The question you asked.
Oh yeah. What was the question?
It was damn, y'all highlight that.
You get too high.
Y'all highlight that because I just turned to look at Eric and he's like, he looks dumb right now.
But I said like, what you got going on now? You leaning more towards beats, or
yeah.
You veered away from engineering.
I remember that.
Even though you still do engineering.
So yeah, I love engineering is my passion, my craft, my love, my tribe. I'm always gonna love it. I dislike the business of it, to be honest. I dislike the fact that we gotta fight tooth and nail for points and things like that. Like the dynamic of us kind of feeling like we're at the bottom of the totem pole in the industry, and kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the music industry, where we're just not really, given. I don't think we're given enough flowers. I think we're given the flowers by a few, but I don't think we're given enough flowers. And it's disheartening. So the business of engineering, the craft of it, is my passion. I love it. Business of it, I hate. So,
and we're gonna champion changing that.
Yeah, we're gonna champion changing that. So, but me, I've always, it's funny because like I feel like all of my experience with everything I'm doing is forming me into like a founder.
Okay.
I feel like that. Like because I feel I've always looked up to like founders like Steve Jobs and Elon Musk and these kind of people. I've always looked up to these people for some reason. I've always had like,
interest
and admiration. Yeah, I mean for people to even like to be even people like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, like just to see someone like take something, and start something and like make it so that everybody wants to be a part of it, or it's something that everybody needs. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an amazing thing, and I think that's where my next journey is
nice,
is being a founder.
Okay.
I'm working on technology right now that I think is going to be pretty cool.
Dope. Talk about that. Talk about that.
I don't know how much you want to give away.
No, I'm not going to get into it too much on this. But next time,
classified.
Next time we get on this podcast, I think
and there will be a next time.
We'll probably have it out.
We're gonna show you this new do-rag technology.
Yeah. It's a do-rag as a pop filter.
Yeah. Don't give too much away.
Why did I think about that?
Yo, do-rag as a pop filter is a fire also podcast name.
Yeah.
I know that's probably gonna be the episode name. I was already
do-rag
thinking.
As a pop filter. That's hilarious.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to, because you gotta get it from the bottom.
But you never told us a horrible story. So you told us a funny one that you didn't engineer, but anything that
horrible.
Or just
a horrible
or
artist
just super memorable. Matter of fact, anything that's memorable to you that you think it was like, wow, this was fucking crazy.
Besides the ASAP, bro.
It don't got to be negative necessarily.
I don't know. I kind of like the negative.
But I like the negative too.
I kind of prefer that.
I don't want him to kind of like.
You don't want to put him in a force.
I remember. I don't know. Remember one time like watching DJ Khaled watch DJ Khaled on TV.
That sounds like DJ Khaled.
It was like a Twilight Zone. Like he's on TV.
No way.
And like he's in the session or whatever, and he comes out and he like to go to the bathroom, and he comes back and like he stops by the TV. He was like just sitting there watching himself on TV.
Nah,
and I'm like,
it
was just
that
like,
is peak DJ Khaled.
That's fire.
It was like, yo,
that's a great visual.
He was also fucking a great person. Like,
really,
he gave me weed. You know,
I can tell. Nah, but
Sagittarius vibes. You already
that's
know.
The thing. Like, you know, DJ Khaled's a great dude.
We were scavengers, so we like DJ Khaled sessions because he would order so much food that they probably wouldn't eat. So we have like fresh food to eat. Like after the session,
that's fire.
We like his
that's
sessions.
Fire.
You know,
we all gotta be like DJ Khaled. Come on,
shout out to him.
Nah.
You fed us through your sessions, although you didn't know that. So thank you. We did eat your leftovers.
Hey, maybe he did. Maybe he did.
Fucking like
maybe he knew. Maybe he over ordered on purpose and was like, you know what? Hooked them up in there.
Yeah.
Your sophomore album, Celebrity Leftovers with Ty.
Yo, Celebrity Leftovers. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. No, we wasn't just eating celebrities leftovers. We were eating regular niggas leftovers too.
Real scavenger shit.
Real scavengers. Regular niggas too.
They were human rats.
But now I was gonna say, Jumbo, you got any final question? Mate?
I was gonna say, how would you like to be remembered? Because I know you're a humble dude. You don't look for a lot of credit. You know, but you did say your next journey might be found in something. Like when it's all said and done, how would you like what would you like the world to know? Like Ty did, or what was his contributions to the world?
And I do want to say something. You wearing an I Love Lucy's sweater, and you helped make an app for that.
Oh yeah.
And that app was fire.
We had a little video.
That app was fire. That was like one of your first dabbles in it, and that shit was dope.
Yeah. That was dope.
That was a dope marketing tool.
Hell yeah. Shout out to all like 10 people that downloaded that shit. No,
I was one of them.
I was on that shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I played that shit mad times.
Word. I was flexing my high scores.
Sending screenshots and shit.
That weed, every time it hit me, it slowed me down and shit. Fucked me up.
Yeah.
You can speed us up. So how would you like to be remembered?
How would I like to be remembered? Man, I might have to. That's a deep ass question.
That's deep.
That's how we close out.
It's the perfect way.
When they close my book, I would like to. I think I would like to be just seen as somebody who gave a giver
with a good heart.
I think you know, but I want to be able to give to as many people as possible, so I want to be able to create. I want to be able to utilize whatever my special superpower is.
Yeah.
To get.
Honorable.
I was gonna say,
I wouldn't expect nothing less.
Yeah, that's the perfect answer coming from you. I was gonna say that I love that question because there's two ways someone can answer it, right? Mm-hmm. Someone can answer it like you did in a very human way, or someone can answer it in terms of like their career or their profession. And like when you say I want to be a giver, like to me that's very human. And we talk about, I remember when we was having a conversation and you actually kind of gave me this question. We was on FaceTime a couple weeks back when we were first kind of trying to schedule this, and you said something along the lines of like, what do you want people to get out of your podcast when they listen to it? And that was something that we never really spoke about
each other.
So I asked them to, and I also thought about my answer, and I believe who even came up with it, but someone said it was one thing that they feel people do get out of our podcast is we discuss where our values lie. And that as humans, we like, I know I like to see where someone's value, like what someone's morals or values are like beyond just what, like you said, transactional shit, what they could do for me or whatever. I like to know the human in people. And that's another reason why I feel like we connect. Because like you said, it's just vibes. It's never been what you do for your career or 100%. Who you know, or it's never been that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's two ways you can answer that question. How would you want to be remembered? And I love that you chose the human way. And to me, that tells us, despite all your accomplishments, that your value lies with being a good human at the end of the day and being a giver. So I love that answer.
No politics.
No politics ever. That's and on that note, can't wait to have you back.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Would you like to, give your socials out, give a last message?
I want to say one last thing. Wu-Tang.
For life.
Perfect sound, though.
Yes, sir. So I'm faking no moves. This was No Politics Records. No Politics podcast. And
you'll play that beat I made.
We gonna play that beat. That is actually our intro made by Ty. And it's our outro. Make sure everyone goes like, comment, subscribe.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
You already know. Thank you. Peace.
Yeah.